Today, I speedrun Undertale's hardest route, and my friend Rando tries to stop me. What is this, Minecraft Manhunt? Now if you're wondering what Undertale's hardest route is, it's not Genocide. This is a route known as Soulless Pacifist, where you play the Genocide route and then the Pacifist route. And let me tell you, this was the most stressful race I have ever done. But hey, I said I wanted a challenge, and this was my true challenge. When starting my run, I thought we agreed that Rando was going to do the true Pacifist route while I do Soulless Pacifist, but then he turned around and decided to do the Genocide route instead. That really threw me off. I was going into this thinking that it would be Pacifist versus Soulless Pacifist, and once he said that he was actually going to do Genocide instead, I knew I was in serious trouble. But I stayed determined, and continued through the ruins. I had really good RNG in the Genocide portion of the ruins. Got several encounters with 3 mold small, which really shortened the time I had to take turning monsters to dust. While I made my way to Toriel's house, Rando was still killing monsters. I knew I'd be ahead for a while, but how long could I keep that lead? I slashed Toriel with the stick, and made my way to Snowden. I had no troubles with Snowden. I killed all the required monsters before Rando made it to Toriel, the dogs were easy to take care of, and when I made it to the end of Snowden Town, Rando was finishing up the Snowden encounters. Now it's time for my favorite area of the game. Also, fun fact, my video background is a rendition of Waterfall I created at 1 in the morning. I swiftly cleared through the Waterfall encounters, fell off a bridge, slaughtered a dummy for no reason, and nearly killed a child. While I was fighting Undyne the Undying, Rando had just finished fighting Papyrus. Things looked very bad for me. I knew that if Rando got through Undyne before I finished my Genocide run, I would lose. But lucky for me, I didn't die on that stupid hitbox attack, and got through the fight on my first try. While I was killing enemies in the core, Rando had made it to Undyne. I was extremely nervous, and only focused on beating Genocide as quickly as possible. I was getting reckless. Like what I did with Undyne, I didn't care about my health or trying to not get hit. My objective was to meet Kara as quickly as I could. I cleared through the rest of the core monsters and made my way to the last corridor. With me being reckless, I had taken a lot of damage during the Sands fight, and had to use the instant noodles and pie I had taken just in case I needed it. But other than that, I got through Sands pretty easily. I made my way to Asgore, and checked up on how Rando was doing. He was still fighting Undyne. Things seemed a lot better for me. The Genocide part of my run was almost over, and Rando was struggling with Undyne. I erased the world, and it was time for me to truly begin the Soulless Pacifist run. I knew it would take me roughly 2 hours to beat Asriel, and I was still worried that Rando would get past Undyne and beat Sands in that time. To make matters even worse, my hands were really starting to cramp up during the Pacifist runs. Button mashing became much slower, and I was taking damage where I normally wouldn't. But still, I was determined to win this race. I didn't care how tired my fingers were or how badly my hands started to hurt. And so, I made it to Toriel, got really good hand RNG, and made my way to Snowden for the second time. I expected myself to get extremely slow at button mashing and fleeing from encounters when entering Snowden, but I found the strength inside of me to ignore that fatigue, and progress like it was my first TPE glitchless speedrun of the day. I quickly made my way to Papyrus, got captured 3 times, had a date, and made my way back to Waterfall. Here's where things started going downhill for me. While Rando was still dying to Undyne the Undying, I would soon join him. My brain just couldn't handle Soulless Pacifist. Normally, I can only do 1 Undertale speedrun per day before my hands get too fatigued. And I was really trying my best to continue forward and complete 2 speedruns back to back. But when I tried to do Kindergarten Undyne, I had died. And then I died again. I even tried to do an easier speedrun strat, and still died. I hated myself. I knew I was better than this. So I tried Kindergarten Undyne once more, but only challenged 2 times so my fatigued hands could keep up with a barrage of spears. And that worked. While I beat Undyne, Rando was still dying to his own Undyne. I started to feel like I could really win this race. All I had to do was push through my hand cramps and beat Asriel. While making my way through Hotland, I could feel myself building my stamina. Maybe in a few months I'll be able to do several Undertale speedruns per day, without getting slower and slower at button mashing. But anyways, I survived the Royal Guard, bombs, Muffet, this puzzle, and now it was time to head to the core for the second time. While I made my way to Mettaton, a rando was still fighting Undyne, but something was off. I had asked him if he made it past Undyne yet, but nobody came. I was confused, but I still had to focus on completing my run. So I pleased Mettaton's audience with my several outfits and made my way to fight Asgore. Asgore was pretty easy, but I kept missing all my frame-perfect attacks like usual, which really slowed me down. With Flowey stealing my kill, I ended his life, reset the game, and proceeded to meet up with the Papyrus at Undyne's house. The True Lab went by fairly quickly, and it was time that I fought Asriel. A rando still hadn't come back, and I was worried that he was secretly fighting Sans or something and would beat me at the last second. But that just didn't happen. He was gone. But I had my own problems to deal with. Asriel wanted to reset the world, and I had to prevent that to finish this run. And so, I spammed a dream to keep myself a good HP, spammed hope to take less damage, dodged Hyper Goner, died to whatever this is, saved my friends, and proceeded to save the best character, Asriel himself. I had won. I had finished 2 speedruns before my friend could stop me. But where the hell did a rando go? I had more important things to attend to though.